Hey guys and girls, I'm Links123 and welcome to another update of my project in Ocarina of Time. It's basically about Breath of the Wild being recreated in Ocarina of Time. For sure we can't do this 100% and totally exact to the original game, but I'm actually trying to make this kind of a texture pack that will work in Ocarina of Time and restore every single texture into this Breath of the Wild look. Basically, Breath of the Wild is a combination between high resolution and cel shading textures, and that's what I'm trying to do in my Ocarina of Time game here. Before we start, there's not a huge update today, but I have some few things to show you guys and girls, and I can't wait to do it because there is a lot of things to talk about. And before we start taking a look at all of the different things, I will just be telling you guys and girls, this project have actually been under construction for around 2 years now, maybe 1.5, maybe. Yeah, 1.5. Let's say 1.5. And it takes a lot of time, and some of you guys and girls out there have actually been contacting me over the Facebook page. Remember to like that page if you like this project. About when this project will be done and when it actually if the project cancelled or anything like that. Well, I won't cancel any of my projects because we have seen that with a lot of different projects in Ocarina of Time. For example, the Ura project, it got cancelled just because the guy who created it basically didn't have the time. So don't start creating the fucking project. I have a 37-hour job every week, and for fuck's sake, I'm still doing this stuff. Anyways, I don't want to rant about projects because they can also be personal issues, you know it. But let's jump straight into the talking and stop complaining about other projects, because this project, it will never be cancelled at any point. Well, the first thing to show you guys and girls is the entrance to the Hyrule Valley. You can see these brick kind of looking textures that goes around the whole entrance here. Looks really nice, and it's not something from Breath of the Wild, but I still think these kind of texture elements looks really something similar to Breath of the Wild for some reason. Basically, I just tried to do it like it was more like a brick gate into another area, and I think it fits pretty well. Also because the color scheme on these textures is more like sandstone or something like that. So it's really nice, and for sure the sand is also the same sand that appears in the Hyrule Valley. Nothing to complain about there. We also got the side textures here, also redone, because Hyrule Field, Lon Lon Ranch and Kokiri Forest, which I will be talking about today, guys and girls, is actually something that I have been creating before in this project, but I managed to find some few mistakes there, and then I began just doing it over and over again and just finding the perfect combination of textures and stuff like that. So it's actually another update of the update, some around a year ago or something like that, but I wasn't happy with the result before this, so I began doing it once again, and it took me around a week to complete all of this. Another thing is the trees. Looks really nice, and it's really high resolution in comparison to the grass here, for example. If you take a look up in the leaves, they are also extremely high resolution, but I think it actually gives a great look. If you take a look at the tree after I killed this Poe, because there's Poes everywhere, man. Well, you can see the tree up here. It got some sharp edges at the top, but I still think it looks slightly cool, and I just like it, right? So before we take a look at Lon Lon Ranch, I'll just tell you guys and girls, it has 2 different textures of the actual Lon Lon Ranch. It's pretty stupid. You can see the fence here. It's actually another texture than the one that I used in the Lon Lon Ranch, and it took me some time because I tried to find the damn texture in my texture pack. I'm basically using GP's texture pack as a manual to edit my own textures. just to get the right names and stuff like that, because that's gonna be a hella mess if you need to dump the texture and afterwards edit them, because sometimes it doesn't really work. So I knew GP's texture pack was complete, but he didn't include this for some reason. Maybe I just got a wrong version or something like that, but I really needed to dump these textures, and suddenly they actually worked, and I think I was really lucky there. But let's talk about that in a second when we enter Lon Lon Ranch, because first of all I want to show you the entrance to the market town. Basically it's the same texture that I used at the entrance to the Gerudo Valley, but I think for some reason these textures is more like some kind of standard brick for Ocarina of Time, so I might going to use this further on in my construction of this texture pack. I hope you guys and girls like this, because I just really like that, and for some reason I think they fit perfectly everywhere in the game. For sure, I don't want to use the texture too much, because then it gets boring and too simple, but just in Hyrule Field, please let me do so. I think, yeah, the small what can I call it, signs on the side here, like these kind of wind blown looking textures, looks really nice, and it fits perfectly for the water section here, so I really do like that. You can also see everything is basically different from my previous version of Hyrule Field. I think it looks really nice, and it just gives a different look, man, because normally the textures here is gray and it's really boring to take a look at, but now it's more like sandstone looking, more beige sand colored stuff, and I really do love that. It's basically my favorite color, even though I'm a white boy, so I can't wear clothes in that color because it would not fit my skin color. Anyways, another tree here is actually pretty funny, because the low resolution on the middle here, but the leaves is extremely high resolution. I don't remember the exact size, but they need to be really high resolution, and same with the other one over there, just because I want to give the leaves really high details and basically just try to make them look perfect, even though this tree looks basically too high resolution for the actual texture pack if you take a look at the background. But I just think on the other side it actually looks pretty nice. Just my opinion. Make sure to tell me what you think is cool and what you think is wrong with the texture pack in the comment section down below. Another thing is the Death Mountain. You can see it over there. It's actually a screenshot from Breath of the Wild that I have taken, and then just placed the goddamn Death Mountain as a PNG file inside my texture pack. You can see here I'm allowed to fly in my Ocarina of Time because I'm really lucky. I'm really pleased here. So you can take a look at the texture there. It's basically just a little picture, and yeah, that's the Death Mountain. But if you have seen the previous updates, you will actually be able to see the original Death Mountain, or my version of the Death Mountain, with lava and fire everywhere, just like in Breath of the Wild. So it's not just a PNG file when you enter the area of the Death Mountain. Well, there's not much to say here, basically, because the walls and the grass is not changed anyway. It's basically my main texture at sides and stuff like that, and what can I call it, like these side walls, these what can I even call it? What is that called? Anyways, I don't even remember, but you know what I mean. The sides here and the grass that are not changed. The texture here will actually be it will I just fell out there. It will be used everywhere in the game as a basic texture, because it's basically a texture that appears everywhere in Ocarina of Time for some reason. The last thing in Hyrule Field, you can also see these old trees, which has a more lower saturation, more white and black and white looking texture. Looks really nice, and I don't know why, but I just think it looks really nice, even though they are slightly too high resolution for the background here, so they might going to be changed, maybe. well, let's go to the Lon Lon Ranch, and just to save some time, I'm just gonna cut in the videos. Give me 2 seconds. Beep, beep. And we are at the front of the Lon Lon Ranch. Before we enter this area, you will just have to take a look at the house from the outside here, because it's actually another texture too. So I used the same textures that I used at Lon Lon Ranch, but it's just a little funny thing that it's 2 different textures, even though it's the exact same house, and it's basically the exact same elements that are used here. But for some reason Nintendo just chose to use 2 different textures. For God's sake, man, it's a hella thing to do when you need to edit textures, because those textures of the outside house was still not available for me. So the gate and the house, I needed to dump those textures. So we're standing in Lon Lon Ranch, and wow, man, there's so much to show you guys and girls here, because I just love this area. The cozy music, the nice mood that are around this area, I just love it, man. And you get the Epona there, and we got a creepy guy over there. What is he even called, man? He looks like Luigi. It's a reference to Luigi, but it's a Talon? No. Okay, I'm digging my own grave here. I don't want to name I don't want to say his name because I can't remember it. Well, we got the sign over here with the cow head, and we basically it's extremely high resolution too, just to give it the details here. You can even see the wooden planks on the sign, really nice. I haven't edited the pre-rendered background in the stall here, so I don't want to show you guys and girls that. You can also see the stall from the outside is changed into a basically just a darker wood, and I love that texture. It's so perfectly fitting for this area. And you can also see the roof here, same texture that appears on some of the floors around the Gerudo Valley, but it looks like some kind of hay that I used on the roof here, and I just like that. Another thing which I really like is the gate to the stall here. It's a little a little piece basically that are just in front of the actual stall, and yeah, let's just call it a door, because I just love the cow head here, because it looks like something that are burned on, like when you mark your cows on their ass basically, with this hot iron stuff. It looks like something that are burned on, and I really do like that. I really gave some effort into this, because the cow head, it's everything, man. You need to put the details on it, and I hope you guys and girls like that too, man, because I really think it fits perfect for this actual door. Well, the windows will also be changed, but that texture will appear in the Kakariko Village folder. And I only edit textures in 1 folder each, so just not to load all of my different textures every time I need to start the emulator, restart it, because I changed some few textures and stuff like that. So I will show you that at the final result. You can see the floor here, that texture, it's also just some kind of wood, but it appears everywhere, also on the sides here, the walls, and even at the roof for some reason. So it was a little problem I had there, because that texture is used everywhere, even though on the fucking furniture we got it on the closet, we got it on this little thingy here. Yeah, it appears everywhere. So you need to have some kind of texture that feels right to use everywhere. I think I did it quite well, but yeah, it depends on what you guys and girls say. You can also see the flower here. Don't jump on the table. No manners, Link. Well, you can see the flower here, just a little one. Looks slightly nice. There's not much to say. And for some reason the pot here is forced to be blue. You can't change that texture. The game makes it look blue. Even though you use a texture, it's also the floor that I used on this little pot there. Just a fun fact. It forces this pot to be blue, even though when the texture is green, then it just turns it into being something weird. But you don't want to change the actual floor texture to green, because then it will look stupid. It's pretty funny, man. The lamp over there, the lantern up here, It's not changed yet because it's just GP's work, so I need to say that because he needs some credits for his hard work, man. Because making a texture pack for Ocarina of Time, it really takes time. Just take a look at my fucking project. It took 1.5 years, man. It's pretty sick. Well, you can also see the fence around this horse racing track. It's slightly bold looking, but I think it looks pretty nice, even though it's really hard to see through this actual fence. I don't know why, but I slightly like it, even though if your resolution is slightly slow. You can also see in the distance the texture will be slightly compressed. Talking about signs, you can see up there, for some reason the game actually twisted this texture into something really weird. I don't know why, and I can't even do anything against it. Then I need to change the actual games file, and then there's not much of a texture pack over it. Then it's more like a mod. So that's a whole nother talk. We got a little nice place here with a little roof on it. It's basically just another kind of stall. We got the same roof, we got the same wall here. Yeah, there's not much to say, but it looks nice, and I think the texture fits perfectly for that too. Can I fly over this? Yes. Another thing I will just say really quickly, yeah, the fence around the whole Lon Lon Ranch here is the same as the outside. I don't know why, but this texture just really fits well, I think. Just for some reason the color scheme fits perfectly for this area, and for sure I needed to use that. Same texture also used in Kokiri Forest, which I will be showing you guys and girls in a second. It's pretty funny because here the textures is actually the same. This one is the actual size, and down here it's a more compressed size. It's stupid because first of all I just chose some kind of a texture that looked really nice, but then it turned out to be stupid looking because there needs to be this kind of line between the textures, or else it will look stupid. Because small bricks and then boom, then we got the huge bricks from the top, right? If you know what I mean. So yeah, I needed to do a little thing there, and then that texture from the market entrance once again needed to be used because yeah, I just like that texture. You can see the crates here, just specific for the Lon Lon Ranch. Also got this burnt on cow head, looks really nice, and for sure that needed to appear on that one too. So it's just a little nice detail, and there's not much to say about this room because I don't have find the texture yet for the walls here. But one thing is for 100% sure, the shovel and this other tool is also made out of 100% wood. It's the same texture as on the wall. On the floor for sure, and it reminds me about Minecraft because you got a wooden shovel and stuff. But yeah, I don't know what to say about that because it's stupid that they use the same texture over and over again at the same specific area. It's just hilarious, man. Well, let's go to Kokiri Forest and see what the changes is there. But before we go to that place, I will just be getting Epona basically, because now we are here and it's just a nice little cutscene. Boom! We jumps really epically out of this ranch, man. Take a look at Link. I really love this, man. Even with my own texture here, it looks really awesome. Let's go to Kokiri Forest! And now we stand in Link's house in Kokiri Forest, the very first place that you will be seeing first time starting a new game file in Ocarina of Time. Some of these pre-rendered backgrounds can't be edited for some reason. Now we're just standing here, let's take a little talk about that. It's really stupid, but the game won't let you do that. For some reason the game won't be able to read these textures, even though you have done it perfectly. It's still a PNG file, same resolution and same size of the actual file, but nothing helps. It's just yeah, a dead end. I don't know why. You can see the texture here on the house. Once again, it's the same as the fence around the Lon Lon Ranch, and I just really do love that texture, and especially for Kokiri Forest, I really do love that. You can also see at basically on every house that the texture appears. I don't know if it's too much used here, but I still want to give this Kokiri Forest the same design everywhere, so it's not changing from house to house, even though it could be cool. But yeah, I don't know. I think this kind of color scheme and just the texture itself looks like something from Breath of the Wild if Kokiri Forest was in that game. We also got some really bright wood fence here. I don't know if I like it because it's really high resolution, but it gives a great feeling. It gives a nice look too, so I don't want to complain about that yet. Maybe I will change it later on. You never know. Well, this house, you can clearly see the texture is getting stretched a little bit, but it doesn't look that bad, but it's still slightly bad. It's a little bit bad, right? Another thing which is a major difference, basically the biggest difference between the last update and this one, is the grass actually, because now I tried to change the grass into a more Breath of the Wild looking grass, so it's not that tall, and we got a brighter saturation on it, so it looks slightly something from like something from Breath of the Wild. We haven't edited the leaves yet when you cut them, but it will be done later on for sure. We also got these mossy bricks. Looks nice. Yeah, there's not much to say here. Let's go to the final area, which is the Lost Woods, because that area is also something to that are really worth to mention in this update, because yeah, you can see the same texture once again is fucking used as the walls, but it's another color. This is more yellow / green. I really do like that kind of combination here, and it gives this kind of a mossy forest looking texture. I really do like that, and as you can see here, you can't get enough of this damn texture. Even though each entrance is made out of what can I call that, just bricks, basically sandstone bricks. And I just like that, man, because it gives some kind of difference between the walls and each entrance, and I just like that, right? Just like that. These small, holy shit, man, I forgot about this. This is not a huge change. Basically, I haven't changed this. It's just some mossy stone bricks, something like that. So I don't want to say anything more about that. If you have seen it, the grass is actually the original Ocarina of Time texture, but my emulator deleted that edited grass texture for this specific area, so I have no chance to basically find it. I can't find it in my texture pack folder, basically because I turned on dump textures on while I was playing with my texture pack, and my emulator has its own life, so it managed to to delete that texture. It's stupid, man, so I just have to dump the textures once again without my texture pack, and I will find the grass that way. You can see down here in this little pond, looks really nice, and especially with the wall textures too, it looks really nice, and I just love the combination here, because I don't know why, but it's just stupid that the walls used as the overworld here is also used underwater. It's really hard to make something look good if it's the same texture. I don't know why, but it's just stupid, to me at least. Well, another place is for sure this little sacred, really cozy, nice looking place. We got a huge tree here, really dark looking in comparison to the other textures. And then we got this side here with the same wall texture, but it fits really great with the line here, the upper line with these wind-blown textures. Looks awesome, as always, right? Let's go to the Sacred Forest Meadow, if I can remember the way here. It's also pretty funny when you edit the textures, you can clearly see what way you need to go, because the ways that shows you this combination of stretched textures, like weird, is not the way you need to go. You need to go to the black holes because, yeah, logic, right? Boom. Also, a great trick is when you're close to the area, you can see through it, just slightly seeing through it. Now you can see everything, so you always know what way you need to go in the Lost Woods. Except for here, but it's just something you need to do and know if you've been playing Ocarina of Time. Well, I haven't changed anything in this area, but I just want to say that I might edit these textures. Make sure to let me know what you think these should be. Should it be bricks? Should it be the the goddamn Hyrule market entrance texture that I used as the walls for the rest of the Lost Woods? Or does it just need to be another texture? Just the normal wall texture as used in Hyrule Field? Something like that. Let me know in the comment section down below. So that's basically it for this update, guys and girls. If I'm sounding a little bit tired or something like that, it's because I've been sick for around a week now, and it's not so funny because here in Denmark it's fucking freezing cold. So I have just been sitting in my bed and I have just been working with these texture stuffs and yeah, enjoying life with warm tea, coffee, you name it. So that's basically the update for now, guys and girls. For today, for sure, not for now. If you want to stay tuned about every single difference or change I'm doing in my game, make sure to like the Facebook page. Link will be in the description. And you will be updated as soon as something change into this texture pack. So make sure to stay tuned, make sure to keep the motivation up for this project so it won't get cancelled, right? So make sure to subscribe to the channel, throw a like after this video, and comment what you think about this project. And yeah, last thing to say is just have a nice day, guys and girls, and I'll see you next time. Bye.